my connection to the pornography industry. So if you don't know, Lily, I've been a government agent ever since I was little. Now I'm going to be posting multiple issues once we go on the pandemic. This pandemic was actually planned for a very, very long time. I'm so sorry to break this to you, but the secret has been revealed. I'm the only reason why we have here in Yu Yu Hakusho. Do you know why? You know you can't attach this ankle anymore. You know why? Because it all makes sense now. For Avatar, the nigga shit with all the fucking dank shit, the Danny Phantom, you understand that I'm the reason why all this shit's here. Do you know why? So when I put my foot in the door, I'll be saying the example instead of Lily be people like Chris and Sean who fucking use their face for all this shit. But Lily, I understood life well enough for actually being in a girl to understand it's not their fault. Lily, it's how people were raised back in the day. It's how society was adapting this shit. We couldn't have fun back in the day without fighting people. Comes from the same generation as Uncle Sonny and Tommy, and Lee, and back then, like fucking, you get a girl, you get in the fight the next day. Lily, it was some shit that you just learned too. You'd be in denial, and then you whoop your fucking friends after you come on, get your ass whooped by your mama. So do you know why we have Yusuke Urameshi? It's because he's based off Gumpy. The time when Lily, we all love Gumpy, and they specifically made it for him. They made him in order to Lily counteract what the French Prince was. They gave you the opportunity to say it's this, and that, and I'm the only one that's just gonna say it's anime. You gotta say, oh, Yu Yu Hakusho is so fucking real. It's about the streets. It's about this and that. Well, I'm just gonna just say it's anime. So you know how I look at Vegeta? It was the way I looked at Vegeta again. His ass beat by Frieza is why they made Hiei in Yu Yu Hakusho. You know why? Because Lily, he looks just like Hiei. Right there, it's like, I'm gonna show you where our mask is. And that was epic foreshadowing all the way to his like, I'm the only reason why we have Hiei. Lily, do all your fucking research. Lily, look up the laws of the universe, look up me, and look up Hiei. Everything that has to do with my channel, look up Hiei. And then I ended up putting Hiei as too short. And the society where it's all like, we think A and B's are for autistic people who don't want to adapt and stuff like that. Why would it matter? Fucking anime is dirt shit anyway. And too short, just because Hiei is short, you're like, oh my god, and that's where we have this pandemic. Even when I joined the animation rap league, he has too short DME shit. You know why? Because we put ourselves in Lily. They call that autism. So you're saying that me putting Hiei Yu Yu Hakusho as a rapper too short is autistic? He's like, yes, because it's a rapper versus a cartoon, and they don't go together, and they support two different fields of society. I'm like, dude, you seriously, Lily, have to really get some mojo. This is fucking ridiculous. What does that have to do with my porn star life? It's because what you see is what you get. Because this is coming down to a point where the whole reason why we have Conan Kids Like Story is to let you know that we're eventually gonna live inside. If you want to join a dark internet, if you want to live by your own set of rules, like not be responsible, you're eventually gonna put other people in danger. What's happening is nerds who fucking join the dark internet, you know, people who still like this pretend Cartoon Network is real but really want fans in society, and then blame popular girls, where popular girls can get away with bad shit that I can get away with fucking thinking Goku is real. If popular girls can live life with fucking fantasy, and so can I. You forget that she has a vagina and we live in a cruel world, bro. And Lily, what ends up happening is they said that woman was shit, that woman was stupid society. So guess what ends up happening to a guy who's really about to score finally respect because they grow up out of their dark end, and how every gang gets fucking trained is you can't get a girl without it being at your expense. Yeah, go figure. He has the car, he also has a yacht, he also has fucking everything else. But he got all that for being full of shit and like really defeating the purpose of everything and being sick in the head. That's what happens when a guy gets a girl legitimately, like how I get released. When like, you could just say that this black guy is just trying to suck her tits, or you could recognize the person he is and recognize that he's a very talented rapper, that he's good at literally all trading fields, and like he's not a fucking retard and shit. That so you can say this and that. So what happens? They hook up where a normal person can't get what they want out of a guy. They eventually have to get a guy from their dark internet, and that's what's been happening over the years. It's like really when people start finding their own way to view life, but girls will hook up with people from the dark. It has to be a dark internet because no normal gang will do this over a girl unless they're getting raped first. Only a dark internet guy is reasonable enough to listen to what a girl has to say enough in order to stop a guy from being sick in the head. So what they're doing is they get a guy from the dark internet who claims he doesn't know a lot of a woman. I usually tame this guy so he won't be sick in the head, so he won't fall back on pussy and won't try to hear more lessons. This has been going on for a very long time, and you know gangs have a lot to do with special education. Gangs also have a lot to do with the porn industry, because literally a lot of porn stars were literally gangs and literally fucking special ed in general are connected to the music industry, not just porn. Special ed is your outlet. You know, special ed is a thing where literally fucking you need specific government care, you need specific government attention more than the next people. And here's what we're gonna give you. We're gonna give you more freedom than everybody else. We're gonna give you multiple options. We're gonna give you perspective. We're gonna give you perspective that other people don't have, but why it's not necessary. Because other people don't have to deal with racism and shit like you. They don't have to deal with the make-believe society that you have to like do, because you're special ed, you're fucking isolated. You don't see things happening all the time. Like really, not only the other people will see things happening all the time. They come from good parents and shit. So literally what ends up happening is they don't have to deal with stereotypes because they're in one straight line. My family already hooked me up with a fucking program outside of school, so I'm prepared to get a job or turn an adult. Literally, they don't have to deal with the racist society that you do. Ended up believing all the racist stereotypes like, oh, Mexican women are only famous for this and that. Fucking a Mexican woman can never become a scientist. Literally, I don't know if there was a fucking Mexican woman to become a fucking scientist, but in actuality, it's not the fact it's Mexican, it's the fact that you put her through shit and you make sure that her stereotype is dominant to the point where she can only do things like here and there, or literally, she can't rise above because of how racist our country is. So what ends up happening is they end up either becoming a famous rapper, like literally a porn star and stuff like that, because literally, if you're an underground rapper and you're in special ed, the government is gonna give you reasons to be a fucking regular rapper. Because because they specifically put you into isolation tools, so they give you a life like a gang member and shit, or you fucking learn how fucking life is, so you can't press a girl easy, but you have no resources and shit. No, they put you in a position where you have all the respect and so you get resources. So like special ed is actually helping people who are in need and stuff like that, and sometimes a career can help your emotional, like, you know, because a lot of things in special ed have to do with emotional stretch, and you can really get away with being emotional where it comes to music. Like Eminem is crazy, Take 9 is fucking crazy. Special ed is like a key outlet to media if you have ambitions and not staying within the guidelines. So this has a lot to do with porn, because I realized once I became a celebrity, once I started working with people like Andre 2000, you know, Jay-Z, Pharrell Williams, I realized a whole lot of this shit revolves around them used to be against the now and them actually coming up and them being humble in interviews from actual experience. I've actually, you know, networked with people who are so full of shit, who pretend to be like, you know, humble, like, you know, the majority, like Kanye West, like in his videos, but they're underground rappers who talk like they're like, yo, I came through the struggle, this now, stories on the street, and stuff like that. But literally, on the inside, they're fucking rapists and shit. They do everything that you know about fucking gangs and shit, but literally they have this calm, cool fucking demeanor. They're like, fuck bitches, get money in fucking public, but literally fucking sex and harassing girls in private. I'm telling you, I know a lot about the porn industry, but I also know a lot about the rap industry. Ended up happening when I was getting rejected in high school is they were creating this thing called quarantine all the way back in the day, and so I have this thing called word of mouth. When I say something like Lily, it comes back like Lily. Like I'll say something like Lily, I'll talk shit to my mom, and Lily, there'll be a fucking product about Lily, the shit I said to my mom. What they did for my favorite porn star, Carmela Bing, is they started making a search engine, because all of a sudden it was originally Mozilla Firefox, so it went from Mozilla Firefox to literally fucking Internet Explorer to Google Chrome, but in the middle there was a search bar called Bing. So how did we go from Google to Yahoo? Where did Bing come in? Carmela Bing, because what ended up happening is she wanted to be a porn star, but she didn't want to go all the way. So like there's this thing like literally where fucking you do just as much and then get out, and literally so what she did, she has a successful porn career, and just like me, who lays low, she laid low. Literally what ended up happening is there were some thirsty people. I know what happens to some people who get corporate. Like some people like get corporate jobs and feel like they have the right to rape women. Like I know Aziz from my previous job, really, I think he seduced one of my girlfriends, Stephanie, after I got kicked out to report. Like, yo, I'm gonna be a fucking pedophile after my best worker gets kicked out to let you know that your guys are full of shit. And I knew that happened. I'm like, yes, Aziz is the man. Lily, that's a great thing to do. Lily, that could have happened the whole time. I could have done this the whole time. Lily, that's what he was waiting for me to do. Like, Woody was looking at me. What they did was they set me up in a day to get fired during a day when he wasn't around. So literally afterwards, I'm like, Aziz has to do this, because Aziz isn't my man if he doesn't do this. So literally, he probably like, hey, you want to get sucked up for a promotion, stuff like that, and then got fucking fired from Pamphylia. Literally, right after I was his fucking best worker, like, Booty! Aziz, please don't fire me. Calm down, Booty, I was just gonna offer you overtime. So what ended up happening was, some corporate officers who literally thought the exact opposite of how Aziz was thinking at the time. Really, what Aziz did was really fucking, he was a really good guy who fucking knows how fucking game movers work, and maybe fucking comes in with a fake daughter in order to fool a gang with reverse psychology every here and there. But what ends up happening is this. Some corporate leaders feel the right that they need more like Lily, so they're trying to offer Carmela and stuff like that. She's like, I don't want to do this and that. So what ended up happening to Carmela was that they kept on fucking looking for her, like, you know you're not stable. So what she did was she got her parts on career and she dipped out like a smart person like Lily. She knew it wasn't for her, so that, but she had started the money. She lived on her own in like a cheap little apartment, I think, Lily. So what ended up happening was, it was either a house or an apartment. So like either what happened was this. They gave me shit called word of mouth, and they gave her word of mouth for the entire search engine, and they're all like, we're looking for you and stuff like that, because he didn't want to do too much like in porn, because literally, I don't know what was going on, because he didn't want to be a complete troll whore. See why they will request her to do things that get her hurt and shit. So what ended up happening is she became the whole part of the, you know, the Android government conspiracy theory that really happened over the time, where literally fucking they used the Matrix against Blue Tricks in order to everything that fucking defies Blue Tricks to get fucking used against. What happens is literally we're gonna have to come to a state where the Matrix never existed, like the 90s never existed, in order to take advantage of the Matrix and how it operates. So what happens is, like, literally, you know why other countries don't let fucking people out of jail as easy as Americans? It's because they understand the principle. You let somebody get out of jail, but it's a beautiful country. Other countries don't know what's good about our country. They only know what's advertised on the news. You actually have to really spend a weekend out here to understand why our country is great. So what they did was they kept on taking advantage of the in-between situation lately when somebody's about to get a good corporate job. They did this and that. They were shutting it off here there to the point where we created an anarchic society, a society that is no longer functional, that is only working but no longer surviving. So like, you know that whole fucking saying is fucking, you can survive but you can't live. Like, you can like literally, you can fucking walk, you can eat, but you can't fucking live life, you can't have fun. That became the society. If you want to have fun, like really, if you want to really have fun, you gotta forget about the bare necessities. And we all became a welfare society. It was horrible. But what ended up happening was, okay, so you're gonna take this fucking idea that we fucking like believe, that we gave you perspective, that it's better to watch a cartoon or drip than actually face problems in fucking school, and we're gonna give you a game to fucking fill in your loneliness. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create this kid and we're gonna manipulate his life, but you're gonna be like, well, I wanna make my own decisions in life. We gave you your own freedom of life, look what you did with it. We structured his life, and you're gonna blame his life for being like a movie, like, no, we structured his movie. What they started to do is they started to prepare for who was being born that year here and there. They prepared for Timothy, prepared for April. That was all part of the government secret. What they were doing was they were getting girls who were likely just based on how it looked, but they would also give you logic on top of it. They would make sure that they're responsible. So the whole time I was looking at Cartoon Network, I was looking at ways of view shit, like calling that kids like Star Cross and Cali Dog. All those ambient feels that really that you really are supposed to show your adults, like I have a calm, cool, and collect mind when other people are talking shit. I would have this to fall back on. And so really, when it comes down to when you blame this and that, all the girls that you said that really weren't work because they have to be a rapper on TV or all fucking dirty now, but that was all supposed to happen. These girls were all supposed to fuck because they pay attention to who was going in and out of school. They even pay attention to, like, okay, so really, there's this girl who's 4 years younger who might really suit his archetype. Like Kimmy, like really what they did with her, like really is like really, okay, so like really, he's getting into junior high now. Like there's this girl who's 4 years younger. Like, will he be able to see for her in the future if he gets a mature mindset? This fucking world is so fucked up that they feel like it's fucking stupid that he's basically really fucking dating a toddler, even though he's a senior and she's a freshman. Like, really, what did that just been too old? Fucking like. The main people in fucking the government kept on making girl after top of girl Lily and fucking Lily gave them shit. They made Cyan, they made all this shit. They fucking started sequencing, and eventually it was epic for salary that I was gonna become a porn star myself. You start seeing little families sort of business fair apart all my girls. Like, you know, Lisa is connected to Brandy Taylor. Brandy Taylor is one of my favorite porn stars. And Lucas Story heavily represents Carmela being her perfect bust, perfect butt, perfect everything. Lily, she represents Carmela being and how much I was addicted to porn back in the day, and she was also a part of the sequence in Lily. But Lily, I don't want to tell her backstory is very unique. I know what they were thinking about her because there's a specific thing I watched in elementary school about factory and how things are made, and I'll like that separate for another video. They did was they created a society, so when you guys live your precious gamer lifestyle, guess what we're gonna give them? And they also modified jeans for me too. You know how girls like Lily have D fat ass and jeans, like they're normally just jeans, right? Lily, and their ass will be fat just because they're fat. What if I told you they started modifying jeans specifically for me to smack them? So when you talk shit to this kid in the future, he's gonna have this, and this. You focus on this growing up. So they were genetically modifying fucking girls for this fucking secret, and this is my connection to porn. It's a really a shame. This is part of my many videos that I have to make for the community in order to understand what's happening, what should have been happening. We're only putting your perspective in order to give you a fucking trial period to learn. So this is a genetic modification we made for Jenny, me, and her. If you guys don't know, go back to season 1, go back to Jenny versus Ivy. Because what ended up happening is they ended up using this thing called the CERN machine, and go look up what the CERN machine can do and what it cannot do. It's a machine created by NASA to fool criminals in the criminal activity, giving you supernatural powers to only control certain situations in order for you to not say that you're Lizzie McGuire. Machine that rotates your need with gravity. That means everything you want to happen will happen in an instant, literally, but it will happen within a human limitation. And they did basically because that's what games focus on. Games will go to anything to prove their point instead of actually face the situation where it is. That's why they gave you some what if you go limitation. Because what it is if you can actually change the reality, literally, then this machine would fucking work. And literally, I'm giving you a fucking boost and it still isn't working. What it is literally fucking literally. You know how fucking our hot girl complexion literally go outside and wear something and a whole bunch of guys are over there. Imagine doing that. But whatever you want. Imagine you try to fit in school. Hey, I want a son done. So instead of you going out and going to a party like, yo, I want to look good at school. Can you make this long and they're doing good within their class? Like, woohoo! Using the fucking CERN machine as an auto generator for what you can do in real life. anything but change reality. And where it comes down to that point, Lily, we're gonna see how far a human will take if you give him, Lily, the right to dwell in his own fantasy all day, the right for a human to dwell in his own bullshit all day. What ends up happening is they allow people to cockblock guys in school because they allow you to cockblock for a certain period along with a gang member period. And like Lily, it can make you do some outrageous shit, but not if the feeling is too strong. So if you have something like propaganda, like fucking shoes, fucking money, shit that isn't natural, but shit that can catch a girl's attention, but not keep a girl, the certain machine can boost that. You do anything within the reality of a mask. What's the gangster's job? To fill in the mask. The whole point of a gangster is to make this mask have substance, to bring substance to this mask in order for you to not view it as a mask. You're viewing, you know that you're acting, but you fool yourself with so much shit that your actually becomes real. That's the whole thing of a gangster. This machine helps perfectly with that, but it's not, because you can put in the work and get the same results. I was a part of the government theory, so they created this whole thing. Like Lily, it was epic foreshadowing that the whole world is gonna operate like a robot. It is up to me to deliver who has soul, and you have to understand. Android thing came all the way back in the early 2005 because Lily, what NASA Lily was planning to do, Lily, they were infused with cartoon network, they were infused with everything. What we were seeing was influencing the mainstream media, what they're focused on, Lily, they critiqued all that. They started Lily, I'm like, Lily, dude, this is supposed to happen. Like, Lily, we just had the meeting with freaking Sam. Lily, if you don't know what Sam is the king of not the dark internet, but the in between the white internet and dark internet. What regulates the dark internet and the white internet is what Sam is in control. So he knows everything about Naruto, how anime is made, and this and that, and he knows that society is full of shit. What ended up happening is freaking, I had one good talk with Sam. I ended up saying, yo, maybe you can get your dick pregnant since you want me to hold on to Naruto's philosophy, since you didn't believe in the real world because popular people were so full of shit. And I agree with him. And guess what? I only talked to Sam that one time, and then he talked to his parents again, and they confessed to him that they were full of shit. Like, no, lately we made fun of you and we should have been supportive and stuff like that. It's been crazy. Ended up happening is Jenny tried to get at me. Jenny was a girl I met my sophomore year in high school while I was trying to stay off the streets and I was trying to get further in my career. They gave me the perfect Asian girl that was in the anime that Lily I could be myself with, but then she was wondering what happened is I nailed my first air date. Like Lily, I introduced myself. I was like, this is how I like anime. I was watching an AMV in front of her, so I actually nailed it. But because Lily, she was wondering why I wasn't confident, is because Lily, gangsters were putting me through shit. Like Lily, she's automatically giving me permission to this and that. When you're older, you automatically know like, yo, this guy already countered this and there. But she's wondering why you're not nervous. You can't be Lily that on the way to transition to a man. She started doing things to make me more confident, like making sure I had period with her in class, making sure I had 2 periods with her, when in actuality they were using a serving machine on her and she was actually fighting. Lily, so what ended up happening is, Lily, what ends up happening is you can actually create a human naturally by Lily doing a whole bunch of like odd events, but actually they actually have their own organic timeline. So this adds on to the android theory that we are genuinely modified humans, but so am I. Like say if I do something, because the world works off of energy, it doesn't work off an actual fact or skill, it works off of energy. So if somebody collects the most energy in the world is going to shift on it, but it's also, the world revolves around 2 things, energy and concept. Like how much are you going to put in? That's why the school jock gets where he walks for so long until the real world exposes him, because what energy, what revolves around him. Really, you have the most energy when in a certain area, but what if you go to another area where that energy is obsolete? What ends up happening is if you put in the work into something, somebody's going to come across the way that's either going to be younger than you or going to represent a piece of you or represent what you did. And because we're all made out of cosmic dust, what we're doing is we're creating a ship. So what happens is we're having a gravity shift. And so some random spot in the fucking world, you're creating a new fucking human out of your own timeline. It's called multiverse theory. And the whole Dragon Ball Z Android saga was based off multiverse theory. So in real life, if you travel to time, you're traveling to a different universe. And that is the whole thing about multiverse theory. But you know, in reality, I figured out that we actually share all universes intertwined in one. So say if you fuck a girl in one universe and it needs to happen fast. Say if you think of fucking another girl in this universe and you fucked her in the other universe because it's happening in different timelines, that girl's automatically gonna go into your current timeline because of Lily, because of the want and because of your energy. Like say if you're famous, say if you said that shit before and it's just a fantasy. Well, what if you're famous and you were imagining fucking a girl and she's famous with you and you guys are 2 big pieces of the fucking universe? What's ended up gonna happen is even though you only thought about it, because you're thinking about it, it was visualized in one universe. It's visual in this universe and like physicalized in another. That means the universe where it was physical will be transported instantly to your universe where it was just your thought. And that's what they call thoughts. It's actually the science behind it. It's true. Like, you could create whole humans like they're not alternate timelines, so natural. And I explained in a video why you're not in control. And the reason why we're all a part of God is because you're not in control. So this is a picture of Jenny. This is my high school sweetheart. This is somebody who really tried to get me ever since that year and really stayed strong and stayed up to date with me ever since then. But me and Jenny ended up doing, because we kept on finding the service needs, we actually created a porn star out of thin air, and her name is Tiger Benson, based off my favorite animal, the tiger. And the real reason why multiverse theory works, where it comes not just to this scenario, but any scenario, is that you're doing something in an alternate timeline, but you're making sure you're important, so you have a god complex. So if it needs to happen, the universe will provide it, because it's a natural room shamble. What happens is it's just rotating. And so Lily, so what if you want something? So Lily, how it comes up is, Lily, say you're on a vacation, right, and you got rejected by a girl in, like, say, middle school, and Lily, what's gonna happen is you're gonna be a girl who Lily represents the same girl who you got rejected by, and that's a coincidence. No, that's called, that means you put in the work or something, and automatically you're not a human. That human is not original. That human has the original timeline, but it was simply because you made her from outer space. That human was really in another outer space that's intertwined into yours. So this may not be a real porn star. This could be just a doll, because what people do is they create natural Mandela effects. I'm like, yo, put a stick somewhere, and like, Lily, put a stick somewhere around the place in the world, and fucking Lily, I'm gonna show you what happens when you put that stick in a certain place. You're gonna see something that resembles that stick somewhere else. They do that a lot. They do that with mainstream media too. There's gotta be somebody who's gonna confess that Lily, there are some people who cheated voice acting when it comes to writing cartoon scripts, because Lily taking advantage of how humans are and how we perceive things. That is very true, because that's the whole meaning of Morse code. Like, Lily, Morse code is using your position versus somebody else. Like, yo, what he actually said didn't translate to your mind, not because you're autistic, because you're imagining him doing this and this because of what he already established. Like, he's saying fucking jambalaya. On your side, it's nothing but intelligent shit. You don't understand. Like, Lily, if you know where a popular kid proves you wrong, and you actually state facts, and you fucking believe it, you don't argue when you start speaking in tongues. Well, then, yeah, but did she with the this and this and this? And you don't ever question him at that point. You just look at him like, that's not nothing to laugh about. They're actually fucking with science when they're doing that, because what they're doing is they're using matter in spaces with their voice, but it's nothing, because it is counts with the whole point of us being a part of God is the point that we can't control. Lily, where it starts to become a problem is when we can do it at will. And the server machine can do it at will where it comes to certain shit, only where it comes to fitting in. The server machine can do it at will where it comes to propaganda, but nothing else. Lily, the server machine can do a whole lot. So what ended up happening is me and Jenny, I was watching her before, I'm like, me and Jenny probably made this shit. Lily, perfect boobs, perfect butt, perfect everything, Lily, short stature, Lily, everything I like in a porn store. Hasn't been Asian. There probably was from an Asian girl in heat trying to get with me for an entire year. What could have happened is, Lily, the struggle could have like did this and that, and we could have caused a time and space where we could have created this alternate timeline where we could have really created Tiger Benson. That is a part of the anchor theory. Everything you fucking want is being pushed in this and that, Lily. And Abby Smith is kind of like has a similar fucking cleavage to Tiger Benson, but what makes a difference is she was actually kind of government controlled too, because her last name is Smith and my rap name is Ludacris, and we all know about the rivalry between Agent Smith and the actual Matrix movie. Abby was specifically made for us to hold on to theories, to let you know there's no point in theories. It's crazy because, Lily, we're genetically modified humans specifically to prove our point, but you can't fight against it. You can't verbally fight against it because how full of shit you are. And the things you can do with a certain machine, who knows how multi-dimensional powers might outbreak.